Discovery.
Hello and welcome to Cutting the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. This week I'm hanging out with Mike.
Hello.
Claire.
Hey.
And Pete.
Hello.
I'm going to apologise for the depressing nature of the following show. Straight off the bat, wasn't my pick.
Mike's be light and fluffy.
I know, and we are incredibly light and fluffy as a podcast, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But Mike has chosen chemical and biological warfare as the episode, as the topic for the next 2 weeks. So this week we'll take a look at chemical warfare. Probably the nastiest, I think, in my own opinion.
At the two.
At the two. Give me a nuke any day. I'll go in that first blast. I'll be quite happy. I don't want this to happen to me. I don't want any of this to happen to me.
No. Well, it just affects everybody, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it
totally
does.
indiscriminate, isn't it? And
It's a horrible way to die, isn't it?
yeah.
Doing the funky chicken, as we
Oh.
used to call it. But let's thank some new returning listeners, and then we'll get into it. Viersen in Germany, Bridgeton in the US, Bay City in the US, Brasilia in Brazil, Richmond in the US, Edinburgh in the UK, Negotin, Croatia or Serbia, Mike?
That is Serbia.
Ah, there we go, Serbia. Herne Bay in the UK, Boardman in the US, Brussels in Belgium, Telford, our hometown, Ashburn in America, and Guadalajara in Spain. Thank you very much. It's much appreciated. Tell a friend. Follow us on Facebook at Cutting the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse, YouTube at Apocalypse Bull, and SoundCloud and Spotify and all your other podcasting platforms at Cutting the Bull in the PTA.
I'll do a little shout out to Braddles from work. Thanks for listening.
Oh, fair play.
He's one of the Telford, definitely.
Now, I've got to give a shout out to my friend Shell, who's also been listening and has just moved house and is incredibly stressed.
Oh.
He's off work this week, so he's been bored, I'm
Well, we've
guessing.
got 300 episodes back catalogue for him to get into.
Hey, what episode number are we on?
Got to be 300 and something now.
Oh, well, it's at 350. It's going to be a spectacular.
Well, we did our 300th episode special, didn't we? A few months ago, if I remember
I
rightly.
don't remember these episodes.
I'm sure we did like a
Nothing to do
thing.
with the Stella Artois.
I'm sure we said something.
Nothing to do with being stellar or twatted.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's move on, shall we? Should we get in there? No one's died, have they?
Yeah. Someone's died this week. Haven't they, Pete?
Come on, Pete, you're the Grim Reaper.
I want to
who's
say
that
yes,
one?
but
Yeah, there's one that's died this week.
I can't fucking think who it is
Hairy
now.
biker guy.
Yes, the
No,
hairy
no one
biker.
in the UK is going to know that one.
Oh.
I thought they were both
Certainly
dead,
to the UK though, the
Yeah.
hairy biker. I can't remember which one it was, to be honest. But yeah, R.I.P. I'll find his name because that's.
Oh, Richard
terrible.
Lewis, the US comedian, died as well.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
76, I think, yeah.
right.
Star of Curb Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Men in Tights.
Robin
as
Hood
King
Men in
John.
Tights.
Yeah.
Prince John in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah.
God, I love that
With the
film.
moving
mole.
The moving mole.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
God damn, I
Forgot
love
about
that. That's, in
Um,
my opinion, though, best Robin Hood film.
No.
Men in Tights.
Yeah, Men in Tights.
It's got to be. It's a close second to
Prince
Prince of Thieves. I'm
Yeah.
afraid.
That's because it's a rip-off of the Prince of Thieves, really, isn't it? So
Yes, but you have to admit that guy in Robin Hood Men in Tights, his accent was a lot better than Costas, who didn't even try.
I don't care. He had that mullet.
You know what? He did bring that mullet into 14th century England.
it was Dave Myers. It was
Yeah.
the hairy biker. It was Dave that passed away.
Well,
So R.I.P.
he's
to-
riding his bike and cooking some food
Definitely.
somewhere on another, possibly riding to the fields of Valhalla. Who knows?
R.I.P. to both of them.
Yeah. Very sad.
Two legends in their own ways, definitely.
Well, yes. Let's move on to the main subject of this evening then.
Oh, a bit fluffier than what
Bit
we were
fl-
just going on about, eh?
The modern world is filled with weaponry that you don't even have to see to be killed by. And that's a depressing thing about chemical weapons. You might get a cloud coming at you. Warfare is no longer relegated to the warrior but open to the scientist as well. And in many cases, a reasonably competent chemist, that's actually really true, these things are ridiculously simple to knock up, some of them.
There's quite a few. You just have to mix a few fucking chemicals sometimes,
Yeah.
like just random chemicals.
Yeah, this is why certain countries in the world, when they make large orders of pesticides, say, oh no, we need to boost our farming, so we need to have these pesticides. The rest of the world goes, no.
Yeah.
Because we don't trust you not to turn those compounds into chemical weapons and then use them. Something that a chemist can create can kill more people than any soldier with a machine gun could ever hope to. It doesn't take a cloud of bullets to cause mass death. Now all it takes is a cloud, and this is where the world of chemical weapons enters the fray. Chemical warfare agents made their brutal introduction in modern theatres at the Second Battle of Ypres in World War One.
Germans and the mustard gas.
Germans and the mustard gas, yeah.
Horrible.
Didn't have shells at that point. They had big canisters, and when the wind was in the right direction, they opened them up, and it just went across, and no one had
Gas
any
masks.
protection whatsoever.
Well, it's what created the invention of gas masks, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And was it a yellow in colour, or is it made up from anything to do with mustard seeds?
We'll get into that for mustard gas, but the chlorine gas is what they used first.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that causes your eyes, nose, and then your lungs to sort of sting and fill with liquid. Turns out you can actually counter chlorine gas with a urine-soaked rag across your mouth and nose.
Always comes out the piss.
Always to the piss.
Piss?
And those are the first gas masks. A urine-soaked rag strapped across your face.
Piss mask.
Piss masks.
Better than getting the fucking chemical poisoning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some goggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The third battle of Ypres, we decided to try it, and the wind changed.
Oh, we got our own man.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. No, actually, everyone kind of ran away when they realised what was happening. Took a division to come. I think it was a French division had to come in and take hold of the line, which is incredibly embarrassing. No one wants the French to come in and take your place, do they?
Not them cheese-eating surrender monkeys.
Hey, they're getting quite aggressive at the minute. They want to go into Ukraine.
What, and help Ukraine?
Yeah, the French are like, oh, it won't be long till we put Western troops in Ukraine. We can't let the Russians get this far. And everyone's like, whoa, calm down, France.
Yeah, we don't want World War III, thank you very much.
Yeah. So, although many in the developed world think of chemical warfare as a relic of the past, the threat from these agents never truly went away. And if anything, the risk of being a victim of chemical weapons has only increased with time. And part of the problem is the general population lacks knowledge regarding them. You can't prepare to survive a threat if you don't know it's there.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, good point.
And the point is, a lot of these things now are pretty scentless, or they smell perfectly innocent. Pear drops, freshly cut grass. Like, ooh, someone's mowing the lawn.
It's December!
Oh, my eyes are melting.
Shit.
You know, that's not what you want.
Is that a happy coincidence, or is it a smell they added to it?
Actually, I don't know. I think it's just what it smells like.
So it's just a happy coincidence.
Yeah.
Does one
Ooh.
smell like freaking smoky bacon? Because that would get me.
Yeah.
I'll be like, bacon?
You'd be like a
I'll be
fucking
running towards
You'd
it.
be a 1930s cartoon character, like flapping
Floating
your
along.
hands and like a hummingbird through the air.
Following the scent.
Until your eyes melt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until I realise this is not good bacon.
No.
Especially if you've been eating maggot-infested biscuits for like days.
Well, I don't
the
tend
World
to-
War One.
Yeah.
I don't tend
Actually,
to do that.
by a certain point in World War One, the troops were incredibly well equipped with food. There was actually a massive surplus because everyone had got their act together.
Alright.
To the point where they're using empty corned beef cans as trench
You
flooring.
said that before, yeah.
Yeah. Eating the general's favourite pigeon is a sad myth. They always had food. So, chlorine gas, the very first modern chemical warfare agent ever used during World War One. Trench warfare had resulted in a stalemate at Ypres in Belgium, and using technology developed by Nobel laureate Fritz Haber. Guys, you just can't trust a German, even if they are a fucking Nobel laureate, can you?
You can't trust that anyway. Obama was given the Peace Prize, wasn't
Mm.
He did drone strike a lot of people, didn't he? Is that what you have to do to get a peace prize
Apparently.
nowadays? Fuck, I should fucking have one then.
What, have you been drone striking people?
Yeah, they gave me the button the other day.
No, there's a way around it. You should literally write on the bombs, like, we come in peace.
Oh, like that alien.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. So that's it. Once you've said that,
It's okay.
It's a peace bomb.
It's a peace bomb.
It's a peace explosion. Don't worry. Everyone will be at peace. Pieces.
Well, the Germans were the first to use it, releasing canisters of chlorine gas on the battlefield, and a new form of warfare was born. Allied forces noticed a yellow-green cloud that was darker near the ground and lighter at the top, and it was heading their way. Moments later, many of these observers were asphyxiated. Like, hey, what's that? Your last word is, hey, what's that?
Yeah, not good.
And it smells like the chlorine that you'd have in like a swim bath.
Yeah. Chlorine is the most prevalent chemical weapon. It's widely used in a gamut of peacetime applications, i.e. swimming pools, as you said, Claire.
So I shouldn't, when I put the chlorine into my...
You shouldn't drink it.
You shouldn't be breathing in it and
Nah.
huffing on it.
Definitely don't snort it.
Wash your hands after and all. Yeah.
Into the paddling pool. I've got one of the huge ones, and then I'll sniff my hand after. I'm like, yes! No?
You don't be doing
No.
that.
Shouldn't be
No.
doing that.
No, right, okay.
Although, to be fair, this is weaponised chlorine, and
Yeah.
I'd imagine the stuff you're picking up for the kiddies' swimming pool isn't going to blister their lungs.
But it's still not good.
No.
It's only like sniffing petrol, isn't it?
Oh, because that's brilliant. Because there's no harm in that whatsoever. Do you know how many brain cells that kills each time you do that?
Yeah.
When I put it in my car? Jesus.
If
Do
you
love
sat-
the smell of petrol, though.
But when you sat over it and like snorting it.
No, I'm not snorting it. I'm just delicately taking in the aroma.
No, because that is a thing. People do like sniff petrol, don't they? They have like a petrol can. They'll fucking open it up and they'll get the fumes, and it makes them a bit.
No, I'm not. No.
Yeah, don't do that shit, man. Well bad for you.
Well, thanks, Pete, for that important health tip.
No problemo. Dr. Pete in the house.
And the thing is, chlorine is a vital component in the manufacturing of most other chemical weapons. If a nation is known to have more potent chemical weapon agents, such as sarin, tabun or mustard, it's virtually guaranteed to have chlorine gas agents as well. So if you got chlorine, you can pretty much make anything. Mike, do you want to give us that fact?
Fritz Haber's wife was so distressed that her husband had initiated chemical warfare that she killed herself with a gunshot to the heart.
Well, there's a fun fact.
Yeah.
In a way, though, it's kind of like. It's kind of. I kind of like that fact.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like she was fucking. She had her head screwed on.
She had a
She
conscience.
was normal. And she was like, fuck, I can't believe what vile fucking things you've done, you horrible bastards, I can't be associated with you. I'm going to kill
She had a
myself.
Barney with him over it.
Which would
Well,
hurt
yeah.
him, yeah? So what a great way of hurting him.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless he
It's the ultimate
hated
way.
her.
It's the ultimate way to hurt him, isn't it?
Well, if he didn't hate her and he did love her, his wife, then that would have tore him up, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yeah.
So fuck you for killing all those poor people with your horrible fucking chemicals, you bastard.
But then again, he's thinking, look, there's German soldiers dying on the front line here.
I know they were thinking in the same way we think
Yeah.
about it, weren't they? Because the propaganda,
Yeah.
they believed they were under attack from us, essentially, from the Western world, weren't they? That was their whole.
I don't know
No,
about
the First
that.
World War was
Yeah.
a bit of just a pissing
sorry,
match.
yeah, First World War,
It was
not
just a
so
pissing
much.
match.
Well, it was basically because the Kaiser felt left out
Hmm.
because all of his rest of his family sort of thought of him as the joke, the butt of the.
He had a withered arm, and they all
Yeah.
thought he was a bit of an invalid,
Yeah,
so they used to make fun of him.
that's what it.
Because remember,
basically boils
you've
down
got
to.
King George V in Britain, you've got the Tsar Nicholas I
Yeah.
in Russia,
You look.
who look like fucking
Identical,
twins. The
yeah.
all the houses of Europe, all the royal houses are fucking inbred to shit at this point. Because Victoria had like 20 kids and married them to every royal family.
Check out inbreeding.
Yeah, check out our breeding episode. Everyone called Kaiser, the Kaiser Wilhelm, was a bit of a laughing stock. He was the run to the letter, basically.
Yeah.
But he still had the most powerful fucking nation on mainland Europe.
Well, they were the dominant force in Europe, wasn't?
Why,
they?
though?
They were-
And how?
That's a story for another time. But basically,
Yeah.
the Prussian who went on to be German military was considered to be the best land army in Europe because they were thoroughly professional troops. Everyone in Prussia did military service, and it's something about the German mentality. They love that structure, organisation, and discipline. The Germans are like, no, they're still like that a bit. You know, German engineering's considered the best because these guys, they're focused.
And they were probably the most industrialised country at the time, weren't they?
And they went through a massive period of reindustrialisation. They were an empire and they were a new empire.
Yeah.
And they looked at us and went, oh,
we want a bit of that.
we'd like a bit of that.
Yeah.
You know, so we're going to start building our navy, and we went, oh, no, we can't have that. So then we had to have the 2-to-1 formula where we had twice the ships of the next nearest power, which was Germany, so we had to outnumber them 2-to-1.
And of course, then the French had to build their forces, and the Russians had to build their forces, and then we all signed these treaties of
So,
if one
yeah,
gets attacked, we'll
help you.
help you
Yeah.
out.
And the Germans are like, well, we reckon we can knock France out the war in 6 weeks, and that's before Britain and Russia can mobilise. And if the French are gone, the British aren't going to do anything. We'll worry about the Russians then.
But they were backward at that point, weren't they?
Yeah, the Russians just, that's what they always have. They just have a load of stuff.
I'm just
Load of-
imagining playing a game of Risk, and they're like, well, we'll take you and they'll take them, and
That's effectively what it was, Claire. First World War was effectively a giant game of Risk.
yeah.
The problem is with chlorine is it's heavier than air. It settles in shell craters, it settles in trenches. So your trench, which protects you from artillery, machine gun fire, now turns into a death trap.
Yeah.
And of course, it was all trench warfare at that point.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the open ground. And like I say, they would pee on rags and breathe through them.
And can you see chlorine gas then?
Yes, it's a yellowy
Yeah.
cloud.
Yellowy.
It has a telltale noxious odour that most people associate with bleach, which of course contains chlorine. So don't go drinking bleach.
I know, yeah. No, I haven't. It's just like,
Are you been sniffing bleach again, Claire?
I cleaned somebody's shower and they had quite a bit of mould and mildew along their grout, so I just chucked literally a bottle of bleach round until my eyes were were stinging, and I had to run out the room and stick my head out the window. Yeah.
I just think that's a complete mild version of what this is.
Woo!
Yeah.
You will know you've been exposed to chlorine because of its odour, and victims of chlorine poisoning experience blurry vision, burning of the skin, nose, throat and eyes, coughing, chest tightness, wheezing and shortness of breath. And as time progresses, blisters may develop on the skin and fluid can begin to accumulate in the lungs in a matter of hours if left untreated, and death due to asphyxiation can result. And we've got a nice picture there of a gas attack.
And when I did that with the bleach, I could still smell bleach like 3 or 4 hours later. When I went every now and then, I was just like, fucking hell, that really hasn't left me, has it? I'm going to have to go easy on the bleach next time.
Yeah, go easy on the bleach.
Bleach is good, but it's not good for us. Do you know what I mean? No. You have to be sparing, definitely.
Yeah. Now, let's go on to mustard gas. The next World War One chemical weapon. Mustard gas, referred to as the king of the war gases, known for its pungent garlic odour, this oily liquid was readily absorbed through the skin, meaning that unless a soldier was completely protected head to toe, he would soon be incapacitated. It's persistent, and it means that once it's sprayed it can stick to things for weeks. Even handling mustard-contaminated tools with bare hands days later can cause severe damage to skin.
Ooh.
Is this where NBC suits started to come in? Did they start like...
Gas capes.
Well, that's
Was the first
NBC
thing.
suits.
Yeah,
It'd have
you've
been
got-
C suits, wouldn't it?
You have gas capes at this point, so it's a gas mask and then it's like a oily rubber hood that sits
goes
over
all
you
the
like
way
a
down.
Batman cowl almost, protects the neck,
Yeah.
face, back of the head, all that, so you put that on. And gloves.
Those blisters, are they on there?
Those are the blisters you can get. And as you can see,
Ranging from 50p to the size of a ball, like a golf ball,
yeah,
tennis balls almost. Yeah. Not nice at all.
it's considered first generation as all World War One chemical era weapons, and it was used well after World War One ended in 1936. Benito Mussolini dropped mustard bombs on what is now modern day Ethiopia because they whooped the arse out of his army.
Yep. That's the only way they could defeat them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mussolini was like, right, I want an empire.
I want a Roman
I
Empire.
want to pick someone weak. We'll go for what they called Abyssinians at the time.
These were
All they've
dudes
got
on.
is spears and shields.
They had
probably had-
some weapons.
yeah.
They had some old rifles and stuff like that.
But they're a very poor country, well, as they are today. And obviously he sent his troops in and they got their asses handed to them. It was a complete and utter international debacle, wasn't
Embarrassment.
it? Yeah.
And then he's like, well, we can't have this, so I'm going to use mustard gas.
Yeah.
Because they've got no protection against that.
That was the only way you could defeat them.
Egypt also used mustard gas in June 1963 against the village of Al-Qawama, and it was used heavily by Saddam Hussein against Iran during the Iran-Iraq War. Although many Iranians were cut with gas masks as the war progressed, their beards precluded a proper seal. Just 2 days of beard growth will prevent a good gas mask seal, which is why every day in the army you are required to shave.
That makes sense.
Not just for tidiness and cleanliness, because you can't get a seal on your gas mask.
That's why
and
you're
you'll
allowed
die.
a tash. You're
Yeah.
allowed. They'll give you permission to have
Yeah.
a tash.
Okay.
But you can only have a tash, and it can only go to your lips, can't it? I believe, like to.
You
like,
can't have a Hulk Hogan tash to
no,
the chin.
You couldn't. You couldn't do a handlebar because it could. That's enough because it sits like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Around, literally almost like a strap around your chin, your jawline. So
Yes,
to speak.
yeah. It's a tight rubber seal around your jawline and your forehead, or your face, basically.
Because masks are fitted as well.
Yeah.
There's lots of different sizes, isn't there? So when
Yeah.
you first join, they come and you get your mask fitted. And like, right, you need an L, you need an S, you need a whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Special forces are the exemption to that. Is it a fucked up fact?
That's just purely so they can blend in.
And also, if you're in a jungle environment and you shaved and washed your face with soap, a good tracker in the jungle will pick that up. The scent of soap. So they need to blend in, be as filthy as you can in the jungle.
Also, if in the places like Iraq, Afghanistan,
Yes.
they tended to do it to blend in, like literally.
Yeah.
They'd all get really good tans on that as well. Which is mad. They'd be told to work on their tans like as brown as you can. I know it sounds racist. It's not. But
I've heard examples of guys with blue eyes have worn contact lenses to give them brown eyes,
Really?
so they can walk amongst people. Blue eyes is a dead giveaway for a Westerner.
I've met a few ex-SAS and spoken to them quite
Yeah.
candidly about what shit they've gone on with and that. I could tell you a little more about that off air. But
Yeah, I worked with an SAS guy who'd done Iraq and Afghanistan, and he taught me some fucking mental shit. But I can't talk about that, and as he shouldn't have talked about it to me. As he says, I cannot tell you much about my time at Portendale when I went off to be an NBC instructor. I can't tell you anything about that because I signed the Official Secrets Act. So
You spent lots of time in a gas chamber with CS gas.
Yes.
That sounded awful as well. It's not a gas chamber. It's a training facility.
That's
Because
right.
a gas chamber is a completely different thing.
Yeah, you don't want that. So mustard gas. What does it do to you? So within 3 to 24 hours of exposure, with an average mean time of 10 to 12 hours, victims experience the first signs and symptoms of mustard poisoning. Burning, itching and redness of any skin exposed to mustard gas is the first sign. Within 24 hours, all of those exposed areas will have developed enormous and incredibly painful blisters.
Looks horrible. We're looking at like some picture of some man sort of like, he looks like he's grimacing.
Oh, that one under his armpit would be fucking painful, wouldn't it?
Pop that shit.
You'd be every time Even a minor dose of mustard gas can cause blindness for up to 10 days, eye pain and light sensitivity. However, the effects of mustard gas don't simply resolve. Chronic conditions such as lung cancer and permanent blindness can develop. So that's where you get the famous photos and footage of the gas in guys who've been gassed, all sort of bandaged over the eyes, hand on the shoulder of the guy in front, walking along. Death occurs by asphyxiation as mustard gas severely inflames lung tissue. Thankfully, though, mustard gas isn't as lethal as many other chemical war agents, although I still say it's a bit of a fucking prick, to be fair.
Not nice, is
As
it?
a gas, it's less lethal, but you know, you're just going to be fucked after.
Well, if you breathe that in and you've got blisters on the inside of your lungs, that's when they're going to pop full of liquid, and that's how you're going to die, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
it's just a way of stopping an army.
It's a fear weapon. You're absolutely right.
And if nothing else, you can incapacitate them. You can incapacitate a whole fucking army.
That's it.
You know what I mean? It's not meant to kill a whole army. It's meant to fucking stop them. But maybe that's what it was designed for.
Well, all of these are fear weapons, aren't they? Because if you see that cloud rolling towards you, and you're like, well, what the fuck's that? Or even if you've got a gas mask, does it work?
Yeah, you're going to run, aren't you?
It's the prototype. You're going to be very hesitant to stand there, aren't you?
But this,
in your prototype, with your piss-soaked rag strapped across your mouth and nose and a pair of swimming goggles.
Yeah. Let's have it.
Yeah, because when you think gas mask or respirator as we know them, you think what we know as gas masks.
Yes.
But like then, they were nothing like that, were they?
No,
they were
no.
full face covering with a couple of canisters on, or yeah.
I'll give you a fun fact about British Army gas masks.
Go on.
You know where the canister sits? You got the bit jutting out to the front, the canister sits to the side.
Yeah.
Round that bit is a drinking straw, it's wrapped around.
Yeah.
And you decontaminate it. And you can, there's a very clever little hole in the top of your water bottle you can open up, pop the straw in, and there's a little bit sticking into your mouth, and you suck through.
Oh, right.
Right? The Americans spent fucking millions to try and develop a gas mask you could drink through. And we just turned up one day and said, well, we just put a straw on.
It is ingenious as well. It really is. It's
and when
little
you're
thing.
done, you just wrap it back around.
Yeah.
And you pop the little straw that's sticking out down sits in your chin like that.
Yeah.
Oh, let's move on to phosphogene gas.
Nice one.
Another first generation weapon. Phosgene, or CG, is 18 more times toxic than chlorine, but it's initially less irritating, so that's okay.
Right.
It smells like freshly cut hay, so troops are less likely to recognise it as a chemical weapon attack until they'd already breathed in a lethal dose. That's sneaky.
That's shady.
It's a sneaky gas. It's not the king of the gases, but phosgene killed more people in World War I than any other chemical warfare agent, and it's commonly found in the manufacturing processes for plastics and pesticides, and it spreads incredibly rapidly.
Yeah,
So can you see it as well?
In thick enough batches, yes. But if it was just released stealthily...
The winds can carry upwards of 20 miles.
Oof.
So you're going to be getting not just the front line, you're going to be getting the guys at the back as well.
This is where everyone up and down the line is doing this motion where you tap your fingertips to your shoulder blades.
What's that mean?
It's the international
McDonald's
sign for a gas attack. Not a McDonald's, that's up of your head. Yeah.
If you get it wrong.
McDonald's drive-throughs up ahead. We haven't shelled that one.
Oh, we're getting Big Macs.
In Iraq, weirdly, there's a lot of lads told me that they would get these constantly stand tos to get your chemical weapons gear on. You're all in your suits anyway, but gas mask and gloves. So you're sweating your tits off in charcoal-lined suits in the Iraqi desert.
Oh no, you can't see this one, Clair. It's colourless.
There you go. Colourless. In thick enough concentrations. And they go, and you get these guys like doing the gas signal, and they're like, "There's fucking birds flying, mate. What are you doing?" They were that on edge about it in Iraq, the Second Iraq War. They're all convinced that these things are going to be used.
Well, because that was what was used as the excuse to go in there, really, wasn't it?
Of course it
Of
was.
The chemical weapons they'd been storing. So
Weapons of mass destruction.
yeah.
Although weirdly, you had like, they were capturing guys who got like NBC, nuclear, biological, chemical antidotes on them, who firmly believed that they were part of rocket troops who were going to launch these missiles. But was that just Saddam fucking with his own dudes?
Could be. Or could just be.
Because it was to perpetrate the myth that we've got.
Could have
this.
been
be a
used as
plant.
propaganda.
Yeah.
Could have been used as propaganda, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, well, if you get captured or they find your dead bodies, they're going to see this on you.
Yeah,
they're going to start shitting.
Because obviously, if you're part of a unit that launches these things, you need to have the antidotes on you, don't you, in case something goes wrong.
It's all propaganda in it. Do you remember the first Gulf War? When that... She was a princess, wasn't she? She said she was a nurse, and she said that...
She was a nurse in Kuwait. They presented her as a nurse in Kuwait.
Yeah, and she said that the Iraqis were coming in and taking the babies out of the incubators and killing them.
Yeah, like killing the kids in their beds and all that sort of thing.
She went on international news and said that.
Went to the UN.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we've got to go and do something about that. And turned out she was a
Saudi
princess,
something like that. Remember the royal family? It was all bollocks.
What?
Yep, it's propaganda to get us into war.
Never. That's stooping real low, isn't it?
Oh, there's a
They'll
lot
do
of
anything, won't they? Because we don't want to go to war. War's horrible, and we're the fuckers that have to fight.
Well,
the
what is
normal
it
people.
good for?
There you go.
stimulating the economy.
Absolutely nothing.
It's good for a lot of things. That's the sad
Anyway.
fact.
Advances in technology,
I thought
advances
you
in
were going to
medicine.
sing it then.
Yeah,
Ben,
yeah, no, but every time it does come on, and I'm here with Mike because he's got it on his laptop, and there's
Yeah.
war. What is it good for? We always go stimulating the economy.
Oh.
What's it do to your phosgene? Well, within 2 to 6 hours after exposure, victims begin to experience coughing, blurry vision, and burning in the throat and eyes. Lesions on the skin akin to frostbite will begin to develop as well. Blood pressure may drop and heart failure is possible. Fluid starts to accumulate in the lungs, and the victim will start to cough up a white-pink fluid indicative of a pulmonary edema. Severe lung damage takes place, and the victim will asphyxiate if enough of the gas is inhaled. If the patient recovers, they are apt to develop chronic bronchitis and emphysema, characteristics of COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and that's what you get if you smoke for 50 years.
Yeah, it's basically inflaming your lungs and making them sort of drown themselves.
Yep. You know, I know a bloke who is like 60. He's on one lung, his other is just fucked. Like, he's got COPD in it, it's fucked. He's on one lung, still smokes fucking 40 a day.
Does he?
Because what's going to
What a trooper.
Because what's going to fucking stop him? Nothing's stopping him.
How the fuck does he afford 40 a day?
I don't know, but I tell you,
Jesus.
he must do 40 a day.
On one lung, fuck me.
On one lung.
Jesus.
What a man.
What a guy.
What a guy.
What a dick.
He's an example to us all of what happens if smoking eats up too long. Right, next one, lewisite.
This one
I've
I've
heard
never
of this one.
Have you? I've never heard of
Never heard of this one.
Lewisite, or L, is a rare example of a weapon that was designed to be used during World War One, but never actually released by the time it was ready for battlefield use. The war was over.
That's why we've never heard of it then. Yeah.
Designated L by the military, lewisite had no other purpose other than a chemical warfare agent. Despite its telltale scent of geraniums, its purpose is anything but flowery, as lewisite causes severe damage virtually upon contact with human skin.
I like geraniums.
You won't like these
I was
geraniums.
going to say that. You definitely won't like these ones, no.
What's it do to you? Within 15 to 30 minutes of exposure, the skin begins to redden and become painful. Within hours, painful and grotesque blisters develop. If lewisite comes into contact with the eyes, severe pain and swelling result. Swelling of the eyes.
Ow.
Hey. Depending on the dose received, permanent blindness is possible. If inhaled, a shortness of breath, coughing, and a hoarse voice will occur. No one's going to do a hoarse voice?
Nay.
There we go. You didn't let me down, Mike. The victim experiences diarrhea and vomiting. A condition known as lewisite shock may appear because arsenic is naturally present in lewisite,
Shit.
and this causes symptoms of arsenic poisoning, obviously, one of which is dangerously low blood pressure. While lewisite caused blisters thankfully heal much faster than those others caused by chemical weapons blister agents, chronic respiratory conditions are possible. So that takes you at the fight immediately, doesn't it?
Low blood pressure, you might be fainting as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it takes you at the fight. Not as lethal.
Yep.
Can be, you know,
Yeah.
but
Yep. Now, many people wondering how we know this because it's never been used, because we test it on our own troops first. I mean,
yes, yeah. Well,
we did do back then.
we did back then. Yeah, I've seen some footage of that. I can't go much into that. I have seen footage of people, live soldiers, being unwittingly tested on. Might be a better way to phrase it.
Yeah.
Like,
They
not
tell you
aware it
film
was going to
shows.
happen.
Yeah. He goes, "A little test this evening, you know. Don't worry, you know, you'll be alright."
But we have released Reesin into the air.
What?
And me and Mike took our antidotes earlier.
Is it Reesin or Ricin?
Ricin.
You may feel some slight
You may feel some
discomfort.
nausea, guys. But don't
Yeah.
worry, we've got the adrenaline needles and the antidotes.
We just want to see what it'll do first. Yeah, that was
Crazy,
fucking
huh?
harsh, wasn't it?
It's all horrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is, give me a nuke anytime.
Well, it depends, doesn't it? You don't want nuclear radiation poison, do you?
Centre of the fucking blast. Make me a shadow on the wall. I want to go in the first one. I don't want this.
It's a no-go zone for ages though, nuclear. It's just
What?
not right. When you
Depends,
get
doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, but as an individual, Claire, if you give me the choice of, like,
nuclear.
do I want this, any of these happening to me,
Mhm.
or do I want to be killed in the first strike of a nuclear weapons attack? Right? I'm taking Sarah Connor screaming, rattling a fence, or my
Yeah.
skeleton, or my skin gets blown off in literally the flash of a
Of
second.
course you would. That's very metal of you.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
But you'd rather go out quick than fucking suffer over a couple of months, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I don't want to be blinded. I don't want to have lung blisters. I don't want any of that. I don't want skin blisters. I never want lung blisters and drown in my own fluids. I don't want to be blind if I survive. I don't want any of that. Rattling the chain link fence as my skin's blown off is for me.
Yeah. That's the only way to go, isn't
It
it?
is. Well, that and being a rock star, taking on a heroin and blowing your head off.
I just want to die in my sleep peacefully. What's wrong with you people?
Well, what about charging a machine gun nest?
Go to sleep one night, watch a bit of South Park or something whilst you fall asleep, and then just never wake up. That'll do.
No, I want to go charging a machine gun nest, armed only with a sharp stick and the ring pull from a lager can.
Well, it can be arranged.
Give it a couple of months.
We'll see how it goes with Russia.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see what happens there. So let's go on the next one. Hydrogen cyanide.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah.
Very nice one, this one.
Also known as prussic acid. Most people are familiar with the most common variant of hydrogen cyanide. Zyklon B.
Ooh, yeah.
You all know what Zyklon B is? That's the one
No.
they pumped into the gas chambers in the...
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Concentration camps, yeah.
Part of the final solution during the Holocaust. Originally, Zyklon B was developed as a rodenticide. Kill rats. Many chemical weapons originated from pesticide research, and it wasn't long until it was realised that if Zyklon B works on rats, it would also work on humans.
Mm.
Slightly bigger dose. That's all it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. More recently, Saddam Hussein dropped hydrogen cyanide on the Kurdish city of Halabja during the Iran-Iraq War.
I believe that might have been the footage I may have seen. Bits of, like, aftermath footage
Yeah.
of that. The village there does sound... The city, should I say, does sound
Halabja.
familiar.
And we probably gave them chemical weapons, didn't we?
Well,
Wouldn't it-
it's a complicated story.
We were allied. He was a puppet of the West.
In the 80s, Saddam Hussein was very much our boy
Yep.
because he was fighting Iran. And Iran we didn't like. So we...
They
well,
didn't-
not us,
We didn't like
specifically.
them because they wouldn't let us install a puppet leader.
Yeah, they'd had a couple of coups, hadn't they? And then they had a couple of counter coups. And they ended up with, what's his
The
name?
Shah.
No, we put the Shah in. The
Mossadegh.
Ayatollah. Ayatollah Khomeini came in.
It started in the 50s, didn't it?
Started in the
We
50s.
got rid of Mossadegh, was it?
We got rid of their dictator. We put
No, it
the
wasn't a dictator. He was a democratically
Such a pair
elected.
of geeks, aren't they?
Yeah.
He was a democratically elected
That's
leader.
right, we put the
And
Shah back in.
He wanted, because at the time, the Iranian oil was under the control of the British and the Americans.
As it bloody well should be.
And we were making all the profits off it. And he came in and said, no, we're going to give the money to the people. Well, we didn't like that. So we got rid of him, put the Shah in.
It was the royal family who'd been kind of kicked out
Yeah.
of power, but we put them in, and he went, I like these British and American people, we'll give them the money.
Yeah.
And that led to a bit of a revolution, And then Iran was a bit of a no-go time for a bit. And then we put the next Shah in.
Yep.
It might have been his son.
Same Shah, I think.
Is it the same one or his son?
I'm not sure.
One of our officials just marched in and were going, this next guy now, you know.
You bribe people in the army to launch a coup against the government.
Fucking hell.
With this guy in their head.
Then, quite deep.
Yeah, it's the CIA, isn't it? They've got their fucking tendrils and everything, haven't they?
Fucking hell.
That's what they did to Ukraine in 2014. They caused a revolution and...
They may have put some right-wing people in.
Yeah.
May have. Then are they as right-wing as Putin?
Doesn't matter.
That's a story for another time.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, Iran's got a bit of a convoluted history with America because they've tried to fuck their regime over so many times, twice at least.
And so we were funding Saddam Hussein to fight them because the enemy of our enemy is our friend, isn't it?
Yeah, fuck the Ukrainians up, set them back.
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
To think, all that problem in the 90s with Saddam Hussein and he was our friend in the 80s and 70s. It's crazy, isn't it?
We're not your friends anymore.
I'm not your friend, guy.
Same with Gaddafi.
Yeah.
We loved Gaddafi. We should send all our political prisoners there to be tortured because we couldn't do it.
In the early 2000s, yeah, we did do that. We sent... Because we couldn't torture people, but Gaddafi wasn't... Libya and Gaddafi weren't signed up to the Geneva Convention. He could. So we'd send the guys that were capturing Iraq and Afghanistan, they'd send them to Libya to be questioned and tortured, and then we get the answers we wanted. And then we had a bit of a fallout with him. I don't know what it was. I've heard it was because he sell his oil again, but he wanted to sell it in a dinar.
He did, yeah.
Which is the African currency.
He wanted to get like a euro. We wanted an African currency and not use the US dollar.
And all the world
signed his own death warrant.
All the world trades on the US dollar. So we'd have fucked that.
Yeah.
If you want to go to another conspiracy route, the 2003 Iraq War, I've been told by several people who've been in the military, that was basically because Saddam was going to be able to sell his oil again, and he wanted to sell it in the euro.
Right.
Which would again fuck the US dollar.
Yeah.
Would have made the euro the biggest currency in the world because Iraq had huge amounts of oil.
This is what America does. It goes around the world.
Spreading freedom.
Proper bully.
Spreading freedom, America. Fuck yeah.
I was about to reference that. About to say, watch Team America, World Police.
Yeah.
But we all know how corrupt the police are. This is just what America is.
Yep. They're not known as the Great Satan for nothing. That's their nickname on the world stage.
But you know what? All their shit works.
Well, yeah.
They're the
richest country in the world,
yep.
aren't
The American. Listen, we got a lot of American listeners. Let's not run them down too much.
No.
They've got positives.
No, the American people are not having a go at.
No.
It's the fucking leaders, isn't it?
Yeah, but they
as
vote
always.
Well, either way, you've got many lovely points, America. I had an American cheeseburger today. It was amazing.
British beef.
It might have been actually because it was in Weatherspoons, but it was just an American cheeseburger. Was what it was
Well,
billed
it wasn't
at.
beef, was it? Zebu?
No, they've gone to beef now.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, they don't do zebu anymore. Well, anyway, this is a very potent weapon. It smells like rancid almonds, which in all fairness, I wouldn't know what that smelled like.
Rancid almonds.
Yeah. I know what I have smelled it because they pumped the smell in. I can't say it. I have smelled the effects of what these weapons smell like, but not the weapon itself. They just pump the smell in the room.
Yeah, so you know what.
So you know what it smells like.
Well, a Bakewell tart is almond.
Yeah. So imagine that and gone off.
Yeah.
See, what's the word I'm looking for?
Mouldy.
No.
Turn.
Alcoholic-y.
Alcoholic-y.
Ferment.
Ferment.
It's actually a
It was
hard.
ferment.
I can't describe the smell to you.
Well,
That's the
would,
thing.
It would definitely ferment, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a hard one to describe because it's one that you don't smell very often.
Yeah, fermented almond. Yeah, not had that much.
And I've drank a lot of beer since I did that course.
What's an almond drink?
Amaretto.
There you go.
Amaretto, whatever it is.
Yeah, leave some amaretto out for a few weeks,
and then you'll be smelling hydrogen cyanide. But only 20% of people reportedly have the capacity to discern the smell.
Interesting.
So most people can't even smell it.
At all.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So what can hydrogen cyanide do to you? What can it do to you? What can it
Do
do
for you.
Hydrogen cyanide works by binding to oxygen receptors in the body, preventing cells from utilising oxygen. When inhaled, it causes dizziness, vomiting, headache, and a fast heart rate and breathing and weakness. As blood pressure plummets, the chance of passing out increases, and inhalation of large doses causes convulsions and respiratory failure until death is the final result.
Is that the funky chicken?
It's one of the funky chickens.
Yeah.
There's several funky chickens in all fairness. This is one of them.
Isn't it carbon monoxide as well that binds to oxygen receptors?
That's right, that's when someone does the old revving the car in the garage trick
Yeah.
to unalive. You see, I was going to say unalive nowadays.
You what?
There's a thing now where in videos, and it's like, oh, so-and-so committed suicide, but the subtitle reads unalived themselves.
Never heard that before.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple of times. Or murder unalived.
Oh.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that on a few reels and the subtitles.
Something Orwellian. I don't like it.
Yeah,
You're
you're
not allowed
right,
to say that if you're doing like a reel on Facebook, you're not allowed to say the word sex.
aren't you?
No, it goes meh. So,
Yeah.
or they say segs.
Yeah.
SEGS. Yeah.
And there's a thing on the internet where some sites will censor some words, like ass, for example.
Mhm.
So like if the word assassinated, it would be, they change ass to butt, it'll become buttinated.
I like it.
My friend we play on PlayStation. We're playing Helldivers 2, and he is good little plug. I don't work for them.
He's hoping he will be though.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, his name's Albion187. His nickname's been Albion for 30 years because he was a West Bromwich Albion football supporter.
Oh, well, I like it already.
But on this particular game, it's star. There's some part of his name he really doesn't like. And I don't know whether it's Albion, for whatever reason, or the 187, which is the code for murder, is it? A 187?
You could be right.
I believe a murder, death, kill.
Oh, no, not murder, death, kill. That's been one of them in this city for 20 years.
A murder, death, kill!
That's it.
film.
Unfreeze John Spartan. Let's get
Right.
on with it.
Demolition Man, if you've never watched it,
Don't
watch
don't
it.
unfreeze Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
That will not go well.
But
Classic.
no,
I love that film.
but yeah.
Right, do
Right.
you use the seashells?
There is a way you can. Just explain online how you do it.
Scrape your
It
arsehole.
involves scraping and scooping.
Scraping your asshole.
Doesn't
Yeah,
sound
well,
pleasant.
Don't want to use someone else's seashell.
I assume they get replaced and recycled and cleaned
There was
How often?
every time. I'm guessing maybe on the top of the toilet there's probably a weight sensor that takes them down to be disinfected and cleaned and then pops them back up.
This was the future after all.
It was the ultimate utopian future. There's no crime. Okay, you can't fuck. That's an
No
issue.
fucking sex.
There's no sex, is there?
Well, there is cyber sex.
Yeah, but you have to have a license to get proper sex, don't you?
No, they didn't even get proper
Oh no,
sex.
they used to do it all in vitro, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
They did them.
VR sex.
Yeah, it's like cybery sex.
No burgers.
No
No
burgers.
rat burgers.
I'd go into the underground for a rat burger.
Damn right.
I'd probably eat a rat burger. I couldn't give a fuck. I'll eat it.
Anyway, massive tangent.
Yes. Let's go to the next one. Tabun. 1938, German scientist Gerhard Schrader accidentally created one of the deadliest chemical weapons of his time while trying to create a better pesticide, and the end result was Tabun, named after the German word for taboo.
Oh, fucking hell, it must be bad.
Yeah.
Because the Germans have no taboos.
Yeah, if they thought it was taboo, fuck me.
You saying that? Are you saying that Shazamove is a taboo? You
Not for
prude.
them. Yeah, not for them.
You prude. Tabun is a nerve agent, and although it's relatively antiquated,
Doesn't
Although-
exist anymore.
although it's relatively antiquated. Ah, fuck me! Someone help me out.
Antiquate.
Antiquated.
That's it.
Antiquated.
Start again.
Tabun is a nerve agent, and though it's relatively antiquated. Antiquated! Antiquated!
There we go.
Tabun is a nerve agent, although it's relatively antiquated, it isn't any less deadly. Not only can tabun be absorbed to the skin, but it's 5 times as toxic as DFP, which is a cousin of sarin. It's tasteless, colourless, and has a slightly fruity odour, and few know they've been exposed to it until it's too late.
Ooh, fruity.
So it's like, ooh, fruity. Oh no. It is very persistent and can be spread via contact with contaminated clothing. And because of these features, guess who used it against the Iranians during the 1980s to great effect?
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein! Oh,
Without blessing.
with pesticides supplied to him by Europe. Mainly the Germans, I think. Weirdly. They're a bit naive, the Germans, post-war. They're like, no one can be as evil as we could be. As we could have been. Let's give all these countries like these pesticides.
No one who speaks German could be evil.
Yeah, why did you have die tattooed on your chest, Mike?
It's thee, bud, thee.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Die, Ben, die, actually.
It's-
Say
it's-
wrong.
It is in that Germanic script. Someone's runic. So, what does Tabin do to you? Like all chemical warfare agents, the larger the dose, the more severe the consequences. Even exposure to low concentrations results in fatigue, apathy, and loss of interest in
I think I've been
life.
stuck with something like that.
There's got to be a tabun leak in your fucking...
Someone's been slowly poisoning me.
Extremes of blood pressure, high or low, so it goes up and down. Blurry vision, constricted pupils, eye pain, headache, rapid breathing and heart rate, vomiting, drooling, sweating, and excessive urination are all common. A cough, chest tightness, sleepiness, weakness, and muscle twitching are also prevalent. If the dosage is high enough, the victim will violently convulse, lose consciousness, become paralysed, and then die from respiratory failure.
So basically, it's full body shutdown.
Yeah.
It's a funky chicken.
Yeah.
Do
Oh,
the
become
fuck-
no, it's paralysed. Look.
Yeah, you violently convulse,
Oh, and then paralysed.
and the reason you become paralysed is because you violently convulse so hard you snap your own spine.
And you lose consciousness and you're
Ow.
fucked. And then your body just goes, oh, no.
Yeah.
Why?
No. Done.
So, tabun is particularly nasty in that it can have a cumulative effect. It takes a long time for it to break down in the body, and so repeated low dose exposures can eventually result in an acute response, otherwise death.
Mhm.
That's a pleasant one.
Mm.
That's nasty.
That's a nasty one, isn't it? Let's go to sarin. Or sarin, if you want to be... Sarin.
Siren, I think.
Sarin.
Sarin is yet another chemical weapon the Germans tested against their concentration camp inmates during World War II. Victims are told if they survived the sarin test, they'd win their freedom. It's 6 times more potent than tabun.
Oh.
Bloody hell.
It's incredibly deadly, and breathing air that contains just 1 part per million of sarin will kill a man within 10 minutes.
Oh.
It has no odour and is incredibly prone to evaporation. While it can be spread via contaminated surfaces, its high volatility means it does not stick around. So that is its only saving grace, that it doesn't stay around. Once it's out, it dissolves pretty quick. But still, 1 in 10 million parts.
So none of them
Will
had
kill
a
you.
chance, did they?
No.
really?
No. But it burns itself out fast. Because it's so lethal.
Sounds it. Isn't it another historical fact for you? In 1953, it was theorised that a single Soviet Tu-4 bomber loaded with sarin bombs could actually kill more people than an atomic bomb.
Ugh.
Oh, guess who had some sarin gas? Have a guess.
Saddam?
Saddam Hussein! He had some sarin gas. but the heat of the desert made it less effective than other chemical weapons. Regardless, on January the 19th of the first year of the Gulf War, so that's pretty much at the end of the First Gulf War, Czech soldiers detected within Iraq detected low levels of sarin in the air.
So we tried it then, he'd gone, fuck it, let's give it a go.
Maybe. The ease for which sarin can be made and its high evaporation rate were why the Om Shinrikyo cult, check out our Om Shinrikyo episode where I butcher every single Japanese pronunciation
Fuck yeah,
I could possibly make, despite having tried to listen to them for at least 2 weeks.
It's a work of art, people. You need to check it out.
It's fantastic. Despite having listened to several podcasts about this and trying to pronounce place names and things like that, and names full stop, I still managed to get every single one fucking wrong apart from Om Shinrikyo.
I thought you were going to say like Chun-Li or something.
Funny enough, she wasn't involved in it.
Oh, shame for you.
He was. They were a doomsday cult in Japan, and they used this chemical weapon for several attempted murders. After a failed anthrax attack, Om Shinrikyo tested sarin gas on sheep they owned at a farm in Australia. They had members around the world. They had those little cult temples around the world.
Still going now, I think.
I think they are.
They split into two, didn't they?
They did. After these tests were successful, they attempted to assassinate a number of Japanese judges using a van-mounted sarin mist gun. They missed their intended target because of various mishaps.
Well, they were completely incompetent.
They were completely incompetent because they had a lot of geeks working for them. Right? They actually had a paramilitary force. I'm sure it was called the Order of the White Flower or something like that. With all former Japanese paratroopers who were the security. But they didn't send those guys out. They sent out all the nerdy scientists who fucked everything up all the time.
It did.
Otherwise, it's going to be a lot more lethal.
Yeah, luckily. They still murdered 7 and hospitalised 54.
Yeah.
Although it was accidentally.
Yeah, and then they went, right, we've got to buy ourselves some time here. These actions culminated in the Tokyo subway attacks. They filled 11 hospital IV bags with sarin, wrapped them in newspaper, and stabbed them with sharpened umbrellas on subways during rush hour.
Wow.
You may remember this. This was the late 90s.
Yeah.
12 people were murdered and over 1,000 were injured. Could have been so much worse.
Yeah.
If it actually worked, my God,
Yeah.
they'd have killed 50,000 people. Easily. So what can sarin gas do to you? Well, even low-level exposure to sarin can result in long-term health consequences. Gulf War illness is widely believed to be due to sarin exposure during the Gulf War, and while there weren't any chemical attacks during Operation Desert Storm, CW detectors, chemical warfare detectors, throughout Iraq went off thousands of times as American jets bombed factories known for manufacturing the substances.
God, I love that game, Operation Desert Storm.
Was that the one with the helicopter?
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah,
wasn't
because it was
Jungle-
Desert Strike.
and then
Yeah.
Jungle Strike.
Jungle Strike
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Urban Strike after that.
Yes.
Yes. That was a bastard, that one was. Flying between the buildings, didn't you? It was like Desert...
Operation Desert Storm was like you had 4 little men,
There was a couple of different games very similarly.
What was
named.
yours then, Claire?
4 little guys, and if you're playing
Desert Storm.
Desert Storm, if you're playing 2
It was a
players,
bit more
splits.
Call of Duty.
Yeah, it was like Call of Duty, but you had special ops.
We used to play that round Ian's, didn't we?
I don't remember that one.
Well, okay, so sarin and cyclosarin plumed into the air as a result of these airstrikes. And wind analysis shows these gases could have been carried up to 300 miles away.
I imagine though it's dispersed at that point a bit, not as.
Yeah,
deadly.
that's just why it's like giving them minor things later on, rather than instant death.
Yeah.
Somewhere between 100,000 to 696,000 soldiers from the Gulf War have reported chronic fatigue, headaches, memory loss and muscle pain, all symptoms of low-level sarin exposure.
Okay, so although it was low level, it affected a lot of soldiers.
Yeah, I mean, it's just blasting through the battlefield, isn't it?
I can relate. Once, don't know why, my ex-wife thought she'd
Try and gas it.
fry up some chilies. She put some fucking jalapenos
Right.
in the frying pan with whatever she was doing, and it basically fucking created like some kind of mustard gas, but like chili gas. It was fucking
A
horrible.
cloud over the top of the.
It wasn't
The
so much a
bucket.
cloud, but I was sat in the living room, like,
Yeah.
and my eyes
It's in the water vapour, isn't it?
my eyes started stinging like fuck. I was like, what the fuck? And then we realised it was from that, and I was like, just like created some kind of fucking chemical weapon. It was like fucking CS spray or something.
Well, the way to think about it is like, you know, when you cut an onion and that smell,
Yeah.
you know, and the.
Yeah.
You know,
It was a
the
lot
burn.
worse. It was horrible. And it was funny because I had a bacon sarnie about 3 or 4 days later. I thought, why the fuck is my bacon sandwich spicy?
Yeah.
It'd been washed, but yeah, it just some of the spice. God, fucking terrible that was.
Well, close to that is sarin can cause constricted pupils, eye pain, blurry vision, drooling, excessive sweating and urination, watery eyes, runny nose, vomiting, a cough, chest tightness, rapid breathing and heart rate, extremes of blood pressure, headache, confusion and weakness. And if the exposure is too great, you dancy funky chicken, pass out, break your spine, and then you have respiratory failure.
Cool.
Nice.
So man. What is so man? Invented by Richard Kuhn, Soman is sarin on steroids.
Oh, fuck.
Twice as toxic as sarin gas. It's more persistent. It's readily absorbed to the skin, and so moving through an area that was sprayed days before is more than enough to kill.
Oh, Jesus.
It's clear, colourless and tasteless, but it has a very faint odour of mothballs or rotten fruit.
I've never smelt mothballs. We don't have them over here, do we?
They used to get them years and years ago. They don't do them
We
anymore.
do, yeah.
Okay, well, guess who used Soman? Soman. Guess who used it?
Our mate Saddam.
Yeah!
Ever? Nah, he was a nice guy. He would never have tried anything like that.
He used it often during the Iran-Iraq War as it was less volatile than sarin. Typically, the Iraqis mixed Soman with another chemical agent called cyclosarin to create a cocktail that worked better in the desert heat. What does it do to you? What does Soman do to you? Well, let me tell you. It's got the same symptoms as sarin poisoning: pinpoint pupils, eye pain, blurry vision, drooling, excessive sweating and urination, watery eyes, runny nose, vomiting, a cough, chest tightness, rapid breathing and heart rate, extremes of blood pressure, headache, convulsion, weakness, confusion, and if you get enough of it, you dance the funky chicken, you pass out, you can't move, and then you die from respiratory failure.
And
So
it
it is just like sarin, but
Twice
it's a
as
bit
bad.
more potent, basically.
It'll do it within 2 minutes.
Fucking hell.
Crikey.
Yay! VX gas. Now, the most lethal chemical warfare ever, one of the most lethal chemical warfare weapons ever created is VX. It's 3 times as toxic as sarin if inhaled, and 1,000 times as toxic if it comes into contact with the skin.
Wow.
It's incredibly persistent in the environment, able to remain lethal up to 3 weeks after being sprayed in an area. It passes through clothing to the skin, and victims don't know they've been exposed until it's too late because it's fucking perfect. It's odourless and tasteless.
Sounds a little bit like Novichok.
It's a similar. It's a variant.
Mm.
It's a Russian variant. Yeah.
Sounds very similar
Yeah.
anyway.
You're right.
They used it on The Rock, the film, didn't they?
That's the one. You have these VX rockets in the rock. Although I don't know how accurate the string of pearls thing is. I never saw that.
That was just their way of
Yeah.
sexing it up a little bit.
Sexing it up. Yeah.
'Cause apparently it's a completely clear liquid, so and they were green, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause
But
they had food colouring.
Yeah, you
Must-
could, yeah.
Well,
Not to
you
hurt
know,
it.
as each one of those broke, you know, that's when it exposes it, doesn't it? And it makes your face melt, and oh, it was horrible.
When the dude gets at the very start of the film gets
Yeah.
trapped in the room with it,
Yeah,
one of those little globes breaks,
yeah,
and even the NBC suits aren't enough
no.
at that range. Anyway, in that enclosed area at that range, and to be fair, I don't even. You've got all this gear on. We call it NBC. The Americans call it MOP. Does it actually? Is it going to stop it at close enough range? No, it isn't. Just isn't. Is it going to do it over an area? Yes, if you keep yourself covered up. But You know what the military's like. How well do these things fit? If you want a large, I'll give you a small. You know that?
If you want a small, they'll give you a large.
Exactly. It's completely clear. It's not treatable with atropines. That's the antidotes. That's the stuff you inject into you.
I thought it was on the film.
In the rock it is, but not in real life.
Oh dear.
Shamika manufactured their own VX in addition to anthrax and sarin, and they even assassinated a former member who threatened to reveal their activities to the police by sprinkling a small amount of it on the back of his neck as he was jogging. The victim chased his assailants for 100 yards before he collapsed and died later on. He's like, I'll smuggle this out, I'll put a bit on the back of my neck, they're getting a test. Yeah, he died.
That wasn't clever.
No. They weren't clever. They were nerds and scientists, but they weren't clever.
Why didn't he sneak it out in a vial?
Because I guess someone would have noticed it. I don't know. I've no idea.
I
wouldn't put it up my bum. I wouldn't put it on the back of my neck. I'm not putting it on my bum and then going jogging. Let's put it that way. I don't know you put up your bum to go jogging, Claire, but I'm telling you, a vial of fucking VX gas is not something I'd put up my bum.
So the guy sprinkled a bit on his own neck
I like
Yeah.
to
try and assassinate.
What do you think? Go on, Claire.
I like to live life on the edge.
He's
Gas
just
off the arse.
testing. Are you testing your gluteus maximus?
Yeah.
I've been doing thrusts.
No, they wanted to kill him.
Alright.
Oh, they assassinated a former member who was threatened to him. So yeah, they sprinkled a bit on him and then he chased them. Like, you fuckers!
Yeah.
And then he got 100 yards and died.
So what does it do to you?
What does VX do to you? It's a V agent, all of which operate in roughly the same manner. The pupils constricted to a pinpoint. Victim's eyes almost lack a pupil due to the level of constriction. Dimmed and blurred vision is a natural consequence of this. Sweat, snot, spit production all increase dramatically. The digestive tract involuntarily contracts, resulting in nausea, vomiting, uncontrollable diarrhea, and severe abdominal cramps. As the smooth muscle in the respiratory passages constricts, the victim slowly loses the ability to breathe as if they're suffering a severe asthma attack. Muscular contractions are severe, with parts of the muscle contracting so fiercely that it looks as if worms are wriggling under the skin.
Oh.
This occurs as violent and painful convulsions take place. This is where you jab yourself with the Valium.
Just to die easier.
Yes.
Right.
Death rapidly follows, typically due to asphyxiation following respiratory arrest. Chronic low-level dose leads to insomnia, inability to make decisions, high levels of anxiety, mood swings, mental fogginess, and bizarre dreams. That's if you just get it at a distance. That's technically you would a chronic low dose. Maybe you take too long having a shit in your NBC gear because you have to expose your butt cheeks to your shit, don't you?
Yeah.
It's a key factor. So crapping in NBC gear usually results in some kind of contamination. So after you've crapped, you immediately dive into your pouch that you have on the front of you. It's got all your antidotes and powders, and you sprinkle these different powders on your ass and rub them in, and then pull your things up as fast as you can. But if you're a bit constipated, because British Army rations do make you a little bit constipated, you can be having a shit for a little bit longer than you might anticipate. So maybe you might get a chronic low-level dose.
That's why they always give you the hot chocolate.
Yes.
Because the hot chocolate, you put a whole one of them into your canister or your cup. You will shit within about 2 hours, definitely.
Yeah.
No matter how constipated you are.
Why?
The biscuit browns stop you from going.
Yep.
The hot chocolate makes you go.
Biscuit browns with British Army issued cheese spread. Oh, fucking lovely.
I always preferred the little tins of pate.
Oh, the pate was good too.
Little tin, little ring, pull it open.
Pop it
Nom,
open,
nom, nom,
just
nom.
enough for a couple of biscuits in each one.
It was good.
It's lovely.
We'll come to our last one.
Last one, ricin.
Ricin.
Naturally found in castor beans, so it's natural. Ricin can be administered either as a powder, mist or pellet. Originally developed for the chemical weapons industry in the 1940s, it soon became prevalent as a chemical weapon throughout the world. In 1978, Bulgarian journalist Georgy Markov was assassinated. He was assassinated. He was assassinated via Ricin in London. Ricin in London. Why do I say Ricin? A man with a weaponised umbrella attacked Markov using the umbrella to inject a ricin pellet. Ricin pellet.
That's the classic way, isn't it? That's the James Bond way.
Oh fuck yeah! If my country said, come to me, MI6 country said, look Ben, we want you to go Eastern Europe. I'm like, fine, the women are beautiful, beer's cheap and plentiful. What we always do is assassinate a Bulgarian journalist.
But I'm using a weaponised umbrella.
But I will do it if you give me a weaponised umbrella.
I just like
and a top hat.
Just the name of weaponised umbrella. It's like, yeah, man. It does also make me think of Penguin.
His was a machine gun. It was impressive.
or a knife.
Or a knife and a knife attachment.
He had a few different things, didn't he?
But if you say to me, like, the Crown comes to me and says, we need you to assassinate this guy, I'm like, right, give me a weaponised umbrella and I'll do it. And a suit and a top hat.
And that's not going to be conspicuous at all, is it?
Nope, just an English gentleman on his way to the opera, Clair, to assassinate a Bulgarian journalist.
Okay.
Oh, guess who used... guess who used... Ricin even... Guess who used... Ricin. Guess who used it? Have a guess.
Saddam Hussein.
Yes! He used it during the Iran-Iraq war.
Fucking hell.
He's a naughty boy, isn't he?
He's had it all, isn't he?
And people say we were wrong for hanging him.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
People say we were wrong for hanging him. Oh yeah, he was a nice guy.
Wasn't a war criminal at all, was he?
No.
So what's it do to you? What does it do to you? At the cellular level, it blocks the proteins that cells need to survive. If one inhales ricin,
you got it right.
Ricin, fever, blue skin, cough, heavy sweating, low blood pressure, and fluid filling the lungs. Result. If it's eaten, you get vomiting, diarrhea, bloody stools and urine, low blood pressure, seizures, and organ failure. Either way, you're dead within 36 to 72 hours.
Fucking hell.
Really not a nice one, is it?
No, it's not. None of them are nice.
No.
None of them are fluffy.
It's probably the worst, though.
And that one was used on Breaking Bad, wasn't it?
Was it?
I never watched it.
It was, yes.
Yes, in a
It's been a long time
cigarette.
since I've seen it,
cigarette,
yeah,
yeah.
yes. That was great, that was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he thought he'd killed that little boy for ages.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's the 10 most lethal, deadliest fuck-about chemical weapons in the world.
Shocking, innit?
And, of course, the question is, how do we know that these things do what they do? Because they've been used on people. But not in Europe.
Well, since World War One.
I think the sarin gas on steroids was the worst. Well,
The VX.
the VX, you think, is even worse than that.
Yeah, the VX is pretty bad.
The sarin in Japan was quite a bad incident in the 90s.
Yeah.
Could have been fucking catastrophic.
Oh, if they were anyway competent,
Yeah. Could have been catastrophic.
you're talking 50,000 dead, easy. And of course, it's literally you've only got to inhale this stuff. It's just a drop of it. They go up in the air, they airburst, they come down over a large area. You had like in The Rock, you know. I love that fucking movie.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got 12 of them and they've all got these globes, and one drop of that globe can take out 10,000 people. One droplet of it.
When they detonate it in the atmosphere,
When they detonate,
it spreads over.
It's worse than a nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
It's a more horrible way to die.
God, imagine that down the streets.
And of course, the new ones you can't even protect against because you can't smell them.
Yeah.
The X is perfect, you can't smell it. All of a sudden, you're walking down the street, and the next thing you know, everyone starts just dropping
And convulsing.
and convulsing. And there's no Valium on the streets, unless you live in some really bad areas in America. And the best defence is a quality gas mask, a proper filter, a full hazmat suit. But yeah, it can only do so much, can't it?
Yeah. But luckily, since 1997, a number of nations have signed what is called the Chemical Weapons Convention, or the CWC. This international agreement states that these nations would neither develop new chemical warfare agents nor stockpile them anymore.
You can still stock the old ones though, can't you?
And I don't believe it for a second. I reckon that we're still doing it.
Do you know why we make them? Why we make these things? Because we learn that someone else has them. We figure out what they are, what they're made of, what the compounds, what they do, and then we develop an antidote. And that's our excuse for making them. We need the antidote, so we need the original thing. And we have to get that from, we have to derive that from the poison itself.
Sort of makes sense though, doesn't it?
It does. I'd rather they didn't exist. Because
they do. So.
As I say, I'd rather have nukes than these things. To be honest. These are the most deadly. Your biological stuff's still pretty deadly. Still very deadly. Massively deadly. But these things are... The chemical weapons, they're designed specifically to do what they do.
And nasty, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, that's... An atomic bomb goes off, wipes out a city. It's quick.
It's not quick for the people on the edges.
On the edges. It's, for most people, it's pretty damn quick. This... This is a painful death. This is a painful death. Whichever way you look at it.
Yeah,
so we have it. Yeah, let's hope that they don't, set any more off.
No. Actually, in World War II, you might be wondering why World War II no one used them. Because everyone was ready for them.
Yeah.
They'd seen what they did in the First World War. And they went, right, we're not having that again. Hitler was gassed. He got a dose of mustard gas. Didn't like gas weapons at all. Didn't like them. Because he'd suffered it. And the fact that the British government actually got its fucking act together before a war and gave everyone in the country a gas mask. Every single person. They even had this weird gas helmet for babies.
Yeah, I've seen one of them.
Yeah, you see them on Antiques Roadshow now and again. They're like a diver's helmet. You
them.
shove the baby inside and seal the bottom, and it pumps. It's got a filter.
They've got them at Cosford.
Yeah, they are.
They've got one of them at Cosford.
You know, so everyone's got a gas mask.
Yeah.
Why bother gassing people?
Yeah.
Because they train the British public. When that air raid siren goes off, you put your gas mask on. Just in case of bombs, you put your gas mask on because you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know what's in any of the bombs, do you?
That's it. So yeah, that's the one thing the British government's ever got right.
Yeah.
So let's round of applause. And on that bombshell,
Tune in next week.
Tune in next week for biological weapons. Hey, it'll be fun. I'm Ben. Don't do the flavor. Don't join a cult. Don't develop chemical weapons.
I'm Mike. Thanks for listening. Peace out. May the force be with you.
Might be bad, but not so open that it spills out your ears.
No, I've been Pete. Time to cheer up now, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.